Coming up, we join the Buddha Day ceremony organized at the Jing Si Hall in Hualien, Taiwan. We meet taxi driver Zhang Longqi, who regained his health after undergoing an organ transplant at the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Hualien. Thank you for joining us. On May 10th, the Tzu Chi Foundation's first Buddha Day ceremony commenced at the Jing Si Hall in Hualien, Taiwan. Under the leadership of Dharma masters at the Jing Si abode, participants came together to commemorate the grace and virtues of the Enlightened One, parents and all sentient beings, as well as to pray for peace and harmony in the world.
Under the leadership of the Jing Si abode Dharma masters, Tzu Chi's first Buddha Day ceremony commences here at the Jing Si Hall in Hualien, Taiwan. With a sincere and pious heart, participants show reverence and gratitude for the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha.
We hope that the Jing Si Dharma lineage and Tzu Chi philosophy may spread to all corners of the world. We hope everyone may come together with hearts of sincerity and pray for the peace and harmony of Taiwan and our world.
On the second Sunday of May each year, the Tzu Chi Foundation celebrates Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Global Tzu Chi Day. Apart from commemorating the Buddha's grace and virtues, Lungela was also reminded of her mother on this day.
Because my mother is not by my side, so I can't tell her what I want to say. And because today is also Tzu Chi Day, I want to express my gratitude to Tzu Chi for the kind help and assistance.
As disasters are becoming more frequent around the world, the theme of this year's Buddha Day ceremony is blessings and gratitude. Under the lead of the school's principal, 82 students of Shangteng Middle School are among the participants of the Buddha Day ceremony in Hualien.
我们是抱着一个学习的心，那么很虔诚的、很感恩的来到这个圣典上，在生命教育跟环保教育的这个领域里面，一直在追随着上人，我们也在学习。
Dressed in traditional Korean clothing, 8 volunteers especially came from Korea to join in the ceremony. Despite the language differences, they display the same reverence and sincerity as the rest of the participants.
Although this is just a small wish of ours, we hope that when we return to Korea, we may introduce Tzu Chi to more people. We hope to get more people to join Tzu Chi's events.
A day to honor the grace of the Buddha, our parents and all sentient beings, 2 Nepalese students currently enrolled at Tzu Chi University were deeply inspired by the occasion and hope to reciprocate their gratitude through action.
I am really thankful from my countryside, the Tzu Chi Foundation, Tzu Chi Foundation USA. They are constantly helping to my country. So I'm really thankful to them.
The solemn and dignified ceremony has helped participants cleanse their inner impurities and return to their innate pure nature. Participants also come together to pray for a world free of calamities and disaster.
On May 10th, Tzu Chi volunteers, along with members of Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team, organized the NGO's first ever Buddha Day ceremony in Nepal at Bhaktapur. Knowing that many quake survivors are still in shock, the volunteers hope that the ceremony can bring a sense of calm to those attending the event. At the Buddha Day ceremony organized in Bhaktapur, Nepal, team leaders at Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team, Huang Qiuliang, reads out the letter of condolence from Master Zheng Yan.
这一次强震重创的尼泊尔，正言感同身受，无时无刻挂怀，全球慈济人也心系着大家。在乡亲惊吓之余，面临无家可归的窘境，只有塑胶布底下能够稍作休息，还有伤患躺在地上等待着救治，可见灾情之惨重。
More than 2,000 years ago, Buddha was born in Lumbini, Nepal. Today, local residents joined Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide to celebrate the birth of Buddha. At the ceremony organized in Nepal, Mayor of Bhaktapur and 200 monks gathered to settle their minds and pray for peace in Nepal. To help quake survivors through these difficult times, the volunteers also organized a 3-day distribution, giving out rice, cooking oil, sugar, and 8 packs to help 7,200 families.
这里我们持续买了7500的白糖，那么每一个在里我们给他们1公斤，还有在这里我们也发放给他们每一个家里我们分他们2公斤的菜油，总共我们买了15000包，1500公斤，1公斤1包就1公斤。
Besides sugar, cooking oil, bean, and rice, Tzu Chi volunteers will also be giving out 8 packs. The volunteers hope the distribution not only provides quake survivors much-needed aid, but also show them Tzu Chi's humanistic spirit.
实际的在各种国际灾难里面的发放的那种的原则能够掌握得住，尤其发放现场里面的人文的展现啊，这个是我们在发放里面很重要的一个诉求。
The volunteers put in extra effort in packing the goods to make it easier for quake survivors to bring their aid home.
过后我们再研究一下，就是把3个肥皂，因为三个肥皂是他们2个肥在旁边跟1个牙膏，那么这个没有空间的，而且它不会摇动。
既然我们都从很远的地方来了，我们还是不同国家，我们都能够来这边，大家一团和气的为大家付出。我相信大家面对我们自己故乡的这些人，我们唯一的要求，大家一定要和和气气的去做好每件事情。
Meanwhile, a group of volunteers are at the distribution venue preparing for the upcoming event. Casual participants listen carefully to the volunteers' explanation and happily put on their volunteer vest. Everyone hopes the upcoming distribution can be a success. On the evening of May 10th, a Buddha Day ceremony was organized at the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall in Taipei, Taiwan, and was participated by Tzu Chi volunteers, special guests, and members of the public. To ensure the success of the event, volunteers were mobilized a day before to set up the venue. At the annual Buddha Day ceremony organized at the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, the orderliness of participants brings out the solemnity at the event. The success of the event can be attributed to the place markers. The day prior to the Buddha Day ceremony, a group of volunteers arrived at Liberty Square to place markers around the ground. At the request of Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall's management, volunteers were cautiously not to damage the jade stone tiles. As it is extremely difficult to place stickers on the jade stone tiles, every year the volunteers will have to look for a different material. This year, however, volunteers found the solution at the Tzu Chi Banqiao recycling station.
这些全部都是啊，那很可惜耶。
这款物件伊是咧可能咧大壁啊，
大壁
啊，但是我们可以充分利用啊，要不然你摆在这里，将来还是当垃圾。
Unwanted wallpapers donated by the factory have become the best alternative for the place markers. Furthermore, the wallpapers also come in different colors.
是用这个是壁纸的材料，比较黏，也不会伤到它那个古迹的东西。
Red, blue, green, gray, and white wallpapers are cut into small pieces. Red represents special guests, while blue represents certified Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu-chengs. Other participants are then divided into groups according to the color of their shirt, which come in green, gray, and white. Behind the stage, Tzu Chi volunteers also set up 2 prefab units to use as resting areas in the exhibition area.
澳门虽然说在这边只是用了当天10号浴佛，我们还是以这个标准作业流程全部把它做圆满，不是说一天就随随便便的。
20 Tzu-chengs who taught Hualien survivors in the Philippines how to assemble the prefab units were mobilized to help. From the steel frame walls, vent windows to drainage pipes, the volunteers make sure the houses are sturdy enough and the construction is completed before sunset. After the construction is completed, the volunteers clean the PP boards to show their respect for the upcoming Buddha Day ceremony. By partaking in the setup, the volunteers hope to form good affinities with those participating in the Buddha Day ceremony. Besides setting up prefab homes as resting areas and exhibit areas, the volunteers also use bamboo shrubs to add to the simplicity and elegance at the event. Let's take a look.
Under the scorching heat of the sun, over 100 volunteers travel back and forth along flights of stairs, carrying tables and chairs as everyone works together to complete the setup of the Buddha Day venue. To add to the simplicity and elegance of the event, bamboo shrubs were brought over from the Tzu Chi Hospital grounds and used throughout the venue.
今天支援这些竹子就是以前尊佛遗教，然后我们用的这个竹林，我们把它留下来，那我们都把它再给它照顾了，照顾的这么漂亮，然后今天呢有这个因缘呢，能够来这边呢跟大家再结缘。
At Tzu Chi events, big or small, medical personnel are always on standby to tend to medical needs. And as it is getting hotter outside, volunteers also thoughtfully installed fans.
百姓他们吹电风扇的话，使用比较凉爽、比较舒服、比较舒畅这样。
Although Xiao Shoutai has 5 to 6 years of experience in plumbing and electricity, he often jokes and says he's still an amateur. However, over the past 2 to 3 years, Xiao is always seen offering his expertise at Tzu Chi's events.
加入慈济后来付出，感觉跟外面我们实职的外面工作领薪水这样比较是不一样的，无所觉的付出，你感觉工作起来会比较没有负担。
Contributing their time and effort selflessly, volunteers hope that the Buddha Day ceremony may bring all participants together to commemorate the Buddha's virtues and pray for peace in our world.
As stated earlier, Taiwan's sewage coverage rate is just over 26%, and most domestic wastewater is discharged right into the country's rivers untreated. However, what happens to the other 26% that does go into a sewer? Well, it would end up in one of the 54 sewage treatment plants in the country. After being treated, it can then be discharged or be reused for everything else except for human use.
A water truck is filling itself up with water in Taipei. At the small park, the vegetation is kept lush green thanks to the automatic sprinkler system. But wait a minute, isn't Taiwan coping with the worst drought in 68 years? Can water be used so casually like this?
Actually, the water that you see watering the lawn now is the treated effluent from our water treatment plant.
As it turns out, underneath the park lies the Taipei Dihua sewage treatment plant. The sewage arriving at the plant is full of different domestic waste. The smell is worse than that of a fermenting rotten egg, and the color is beyond filthy. After navigating through the city sewers, the sewage is first sent to the sedimentation pool and then treated at the aeration tank.
This tank here is for aerobic treatment.
This brownish goo is condensed sewage. It contains large amounts of highly polluting organic matter, but at the same time, it is food for microorganisms and bacteria.
The sewage is full of water-soluble pollutants, so we introduce microorganisms that can degrade these pollutants. And the process is expedited with us pumping air into the sewage to provide oxygen for the microorganisms.
After a total of 15 different tanks and aerobic and anaerobic treatments, sedimentation and disinfection, 11 hours after its initial arrival, the sewage can now be safely discharged. Currently, Taiwan has 54 sewage treatment plants, of which 52 are capable of secondary treatment like this one, while the other 2 are only capable of primary treatment, which only includes sedimentation and disinfection. But is that adequate?
The treated effluent from a primary treatment plant is safe for rivers. However, since we can now better analyze the effluent, we are worried about pollutants that even a secondary plant cannot deal with, such as chemicals from medication.
44 of the sewage treatment plants will disinfect part of their treated effluent and provide it free of charge to citizens. The water is suitable for everything except for drinking. However, few utilize such service.
We can provide 1,500 cubic meters worth of treated effluent a day, but for the whole last month, only 1,000 cubic meters worth was taken. There's a lot of room for growth in Taipei.
After all, it is more convenient to access water by turning on the faucet than to fetch it with a water truck. To prevent contamination, treated effluent cannot use regular water trucks or be fed into the tap water system, and thus few people are willing to use it. Nonetheless, treated effluent is a valuable water resource and should be put to use properly.
Every day, 3 million cubic meters worth of treated domestic wastewater are discharged. But the demand for water for industrial use in western Taiwan is 2.5 million cubic meters. If we can just reuse 20% of the treated effluent, we can provide industries with 600,000 cubic meters of water a day.
It is estimated that 20% of treated domestic wastewater can meet 40% of the demand of water for industrial use in Taiwan. Though the cost of using treated effluent is higher than using tap water, it is far cheaper than calling for a water truck or desalinating seawater, and thus several companies are now willing to give it a try.
We have designated 6 of the treatment plants to be a part of a treated effluent recycling demonstration. By 2017, we shall begin supplying treated effluent.
With the addition of treated effluent, industries with high water demands will have more options, especially during droughts. Israel and Singapore are known for the efficient use of water, for both countries have limited access to this invaluable resource. Had Taiwan not experienced the worst drought in 68 years, then perhaps people would have continued to use water carelessly. Thanks to the crisis, however, now there is room for growth.
To mark the 10th anniversary of the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, our next report focuses on the hospital's milestone in organ transplants and bring you the story of Zhang Longqi.
53-year-old Zhang Longqi has been a taxi driver for more than 30 years. With both hands firmly on the steering wheel and looking at ease, it's difficult to tell that just 6 months ago, Zhang was diagnosed with acute heart failure and needed a heart transplant in order to survive.
The symptoms were very similar to that of a cold. He often had a shortness of breath even when he coughed. The ER doctor diagnosed him with heart and respiratory failure. Many of his organs were failing.
As Mr. Zhang's condition involved many complications, for the transplant team, the surgery was to be a challenge. However, the medical team overcame all hurdles and completed the transplant successfully. Following the surgery, the team also paid Mr. Zhang a visit to check on the progress of his recovery.
We visit patients at home to get a better grasp of their condition. We will also check on them during the course of their recovery to see how they are progressing. It's a long-term doctor-patient relationship, and it extends to the entire family.
Thanks to the selfless dedication and professionalism of Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital medical team, Zhang and his family were given a second chance at life. The success of an organ transplant is not only dependent on the skills and expertise of the transplant team, but the trust between doctor and patient is also vital to its success.
We have our patients to thank for giving us the opportunity to offer our medical services, whether it is the trust organ recipients have placed in us doctors, or the willingness of the organ donors to help save a life.
Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital will soon celebrate its 10th anniversary. The past decade has been marked by milestones in organ transplant, including heart, kidney, liver and cornea transplants. In the next decade to come, Tzu Chi Hospital promises to grow from strength to strength and to continue to safeguard lives with love.
Next, we travel to Taoyuan and Xingdian to see how Tzu Chi volunteers bring the Buddha Day ceremony to seniors and the disadvantaged.
Here at the Fude Nursing Home in Xingdian, New Taipei City, Tzu Chi volunteers organized an early celebration of Buddha Day for seniors, while also taking the opportunity to pray for Nepal's quake victims. Volunteers also put on a short skit. The play evoked feelings of longing and nostalgia. However, that feeling was quickly replaced with a sense of happiness upon hearing the volunteers singing.
Everyone has a story to tell. When we were chatting with the seniors, we got to hear their stories, and their invaluable insight and experiences have really helped us grow.
While extending their love to seniors, volunteers were also reminded of their filial duty towards their own A foreign bride from Indonesia, Shani's family fell into financial hardship when her husband passed away. In celebration of Mother's Day, volunteers brought their well wishes and encouraged Shani's children to express their love out loud.
妈妈，我爱你。对呀，要抱一下呀，抱一下呀，对呀。妈妈，我爱你。佛祖。
Single mother Miss Xie has been supporting her family of 4 single-handedly. Volunteers reminded her children to be grateful for their mother's unconditional love.
世上只有妈妈好，有妈的孩子像个宝，投进妈妈的怀抱。
Tzu Chi volunteers also arrived at the home of this 103-year-old senior who lives with 4 other generations under one roof.
你手没有牵着它不行，对，好来。哦。烟花香。
Meanwhile, in Bada, volunteers also paid Grandfather Li, who is bedridden, a visit, bringing with them their well wishes and blessings. Thanks to the volunteers' arrangements, local residents were given the opportunity to cultivate merits and virtues while experiencing the grace of the Buddha.
Traveling to central Taiwan, we meet 62-year-old Liu A-ying of Yunlin, who's the winner of this year's Compassion Award. Putting pickled watermelon into bags is Grandma Liu A-ying, who sells this delicious food to raise money on behalf of the Senior Community Foundation in Sihu.
The money from selling pickled watermelon will be given to the Senior Community Foundation. We can purchase things for other seniors too.
Liu is currently an active community volunteer. After dedicating her morning to packing pickled watermelon, in the afternoon, Liu goes around the community to give her neighbors a blood pressure test.
You need to take your medication or else your blood pressure will be too high. Take a nap at noon, okay? If she's not feeling well and no one is at home, I will call her family.
Liu is a great person. She doesn't let us do anything laborious and always finishes all the tasks by herself.
62-year-old Liu A-ying was adopted by her current family when she was 2 months old and started taking care of her siblings when she was just 4. By the time Liu reached the age of 8, she had to cook and work in the fields to make sure her siblings could focus on their studies.
I couldn't go to school because I had to take care of household chores. I think it was my destiny to do so I don't complain.
After being married, Liu often had to work from morning until night to care for her 14 family members. Despite the heavy responsibility, Liu never lost her smile. Now no longer having to worry about her children, Grandma Liu dedicates most of her time to caring for seniors in her community. Liu says she is happy because she can finally live her life for herself. We go to Malaysia at the end of the show, where more than 2,500 Tzu Chi volunteers and 77 Dharma masters gathered together to attend the Buddha Day ceremony organized at the Kuala Lumpur Jing Si Hall. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.